Okay, so just a quick trade recap here. As you can see, we had a winning day. Just gonna delete the alert there. So, what I was looking for today. Okay, I came into today wanting two things, and I was gonna let the market kind of decide what it wanted to do, and then I would make a decision from there. So before market opened, I was watching. So prior to 9:30, we hadn't taken this PDL here. Well, not PDL. PWL, previous weekly low. We hadn't taken that yet, so that was a spot that I wanted to come for. So I was bearish until we took that low. But I was also well aware that we had this fair value gap that we had created from yesterday's close. This daily fair value gap. So this was another thing I wanted to trade into, especially if we took that low and showed some promise to the upside. Okay, so those are my two magnets for price. It was either this previous weekly low, or sell to this previous weekly low, or buy to this to this fair value gap. So on the 4 hour, you can see the nice sweep of the previous weekly low, but also these equal lows as well. Okay, so nice sweep there. If I go to the 1 hour, okay, you'll see just that sweep even clearer, right? This was a trade, I held this trade. It just took longer to hit my take profit because I entered off of the 15-minute time frame, which I usually don't do. Usually I'll enter off the 5 or the 1, but this gave me essentially a 1-to-1 here. So it was enough for me to say, I mean, this is a 1-to-1. Okay, whatever. We'll count it as a 1-to-1. It's 0.01% off. So, but anyways, 1-to-1 here. So it gave me what I needed to see. I made sure I couldn't put my stop underneath the low because then it wouldn't be a 1-to-1. What I did was I put my stop underneath right where the consequent encroachment of the wick was, that swap liquidity. That's where I put my stop loss. Now, in hindsight, and I was contemplating this, but this is something where it's just not my style. I'm not comfortable with it yet. Maybe one day I'll be able to put my stop loss a little bit tighter, but the way I trade right now is I wouldn't have wanted to do this. I was thinking about it underneath the inversion fair value gap that I was entering off of, but I feel a lot more comfortable when my stop is when I give my trade more room to breathe. And a lot of the times, like if the low was here, then I would have put it here, right? And of course, it would have been less room to breathe. But I like to have my stop loss underneath lows. Now, this was the best I could do because any lower, and it wouldn't have been a 1-to-1. But I thought this was good enough, especially since I was considering putting my stop underneath the inversion fair value gap. I figured I'm giving myself enough breathing room here. But yeah, so that's how I put my stop. And it was a 1-to-1, and I also was only able to I trade with 1% risk, and that allowed me one micro contract. So I wouldn't have taken partials anyway with a 1-to-1. The way I'll manage a 1-to-1 is I'll just put my stop loss to break even at a certain point. I don't even want to trail my stop loss with a 1-to-1, dude. It either hit my take profit or don't. Like with a 1-to-1. So my stop loss was set to break even when we traded above this high here, and that was that. Eventually price came to my take profit, as you can see. Again, my take profit was a combination of these equal highs here, right? And of course, the daily fair value gap that we were going to trade into. So that was the trade, right? Sweep of liquidity. distribution higher, inverse fair value gap. We traded back inside of the inverse fair value gap after we closed above it. This is the candle that I entered off of, or price tapped me in, right? Set a limit order. And then from there, essentially only up, which is a nice thing to see. Like I said, I was in this trade a little bit longer than my normal trades because my entry was on the 15-minute time frame. So that was something that I considered for sure. I knew I'd probably have to hold this for a little bit longer, and I did. So I was in this for, let's see, I was in this trade for 15, 30, 45. Well, let's just do this. What am I? 9:45 to 9:45 to 1:15 is what I held this trade. How long I held this trade for? So a little bit longer than I usually do. But all my rules were followed. It's nice to see a winning trade. Only my second trade of the entire month. I've talked about why. We had a whole week I didn't trade because of the election, and then the week after was FOMC week, or no, the week after was NFP week, I think. So I didn't trade past Wednesday morning, and yeah, this is the first week where we don't have too much red folder news, which is nice for me because I don't trade red folder days. So yeah, but that was the trade. I'll show the actual execution. Okay, so there you go. Entry off of this candle, like I said, exit off that candle, and plus 320 on the day.